Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening via Stitcher, SoundCloud, Tumblr, and watching via YouTube, pjtwcentral.com. Peter Talks Smackdown. And this week's Smackdown is coming from Birmingham, Alabama. A show that was actually quite better than Raw. Not because it was shorter. I mean, that's always nicer that it's a shorter program. But it actually felt more like a go home show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I say outside of the fact that there's no Divas match. I don't think so. I mean, I did my predictions on Wednesday, and when I went to the Wikipedia page, there wasn't a Divas Championship match at all. But this, say, take all the people involved, it felt like more of a go home show than Raw. And again, Raw was decent, but this was more of a go home show. And this was the SmackDown go home show. I fairly enjoyed it. It's really too bad that a show like this and what it did wasn't on Monday night. So it starts off with Roman Reigns. He comes out again. I can never really gauge the crowd response because it's mostly canned. You know, SmackDown is pre-recorded on Tuesday and then aired on Thursday, and they throw some canned heat in there. And I know that Roman Reigns is mad over with some people and especially with the women, but the pop that he got coming in is like, he ain't that over. He ain't that over in Alabama. But anyway, he comes out and he shoots on Bray Wyatt. They have their battleground match, and again, it all spawns from when Roman Reigns defeated Bray Wyatt to prevent him from taking Roman's place in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Bray Wyatt since then has interfered with damn near every match that Roman Reigns has been in, and it's pretty decent opener. Before Bray Wyatt actually shows up on the TV on the big screen, for them to sort of shoot at each other. Roman Reigns announces that he's teaming up with Dean Ambrose, a guy who isn't on the card at all for Battleground. Will be going up against Big Show and Sheamus. But yeah, the back and forth between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns was actually pretty decent. And it was pretty, I mean, it's your basic 15-minute opener or a 10-minute opener, but can't complain. You had the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. The New Day consisting of Kofi and Big E. I'm just going to assume that those two guys, Kofi and Big E, are the tag team. You know, they try to do the whole rock, paper, scissors thing and the whole Freebird thing, but Xavier Woods is more of I think he's more of a hype man than he is an actual tag team partner. I mean, he's a good hype man. He's funny as shit. But primetime players on commentary, and this is a rematch from last Monday. Was it Monday? No, it wasn't last Monday. It was Monday before. And I wasn't really too happy that the Lucha Dragons actually had to take a pinfall to the primetime players, to the New Day, because again, I'm pro New Day, but I'm also pro Lucha Dragons. Did I say Lucha Underground earlier? Well, anyway, I always get those two mixed up. But I'm pro Lucha Dragon, and Kalisto, I feel, is not going to be the next Rey Mysterio. No one's going to ever be the next Rey Mysterio, but I feel like Kalisto is a superstar. And if he gets the proper push and the proper alignment, he can be a Hall of Famer. Him and what the hell is Mystico, but the hell, Sin Cara. That's it. Sin Cara. Those two, they make a really good tag team. Very old school. They're also pop. They're pop. The kids love them. And they got the mask on, and they really, really, really work well together. And who's ever in the ring with them, say other than say the Los Matadores, because my God, other than them, whoever they're in the ring with, it's just a good match. And honestly, this they had one again either last week or something like that. This match was better than the last one. You got the primetime players on commentary, and they are just a bunch of nothings. They're a bunch of jabronis. The New Day win, and I'm not really excited about that either. I feel like they could have just put the Ascension in there or something, or put Los Matadores, put somebody else in there. Um, Lucha Dragons, I just feel like they deserve a bit of a baby push that that now that the Usos are still out, they haven't been around since WrestleMania, so they could have filled that spot in and become the next new, high flying tag team baby faces. But you know how the WWE works. You either, rock with them or you don't. Um, After the match, they shoot on the primetime players, and then they had a new. I was hoping, honestly, I was so hoping that they were gonna shoot on the Crimson Tide. Because when they came to North Carolina, they shot on the Charlotte Hornets, and Alabama loved their football, they loved their Roll Tide, and I honestly, seriously thought they're in Birmingham. What a perfect opportunity to get heat, to get some. I imagine they actually shot it at Creative, and they were like, "Nah, that's a little too over. That'll get you a little too much heat for your own good." It's like, fuck you, man. I would have went rogue. I would have been like, and Nick Saban and your boys couldn't do the job in the Final Four. They couldn't win the championship, but we're gonna win the championship. That shit would have been gold. But they were talking about new tag champs, primetime players. They get up. They're like in fucking full like suit and tie, and they get into the ring like they're gonna start some shit, and then the New Day retreats, and that's that segment. You get King Barrett versus Jack Swagger. Swagger's a full time jobber. That's another guy. I'm wondering what's gonna happen when his contract runs up. I mean, his contract has to be up pretty soon. I mean, when he had that feud with Del Rio, when Del Rio was babyface, and it seems like shit was really coming together for the guy, but then he got pulled over for speeding, drunk, and then weed in the car, and his career hasn't been the same since. They teamed him up. They teamed him up with Cesaro, and that was pretty dope. The Real Americans, but when they pulled Cesaro out of that mix, Swagger's just been a floundering fish, man. And Barrett, who can't get a win over anybody, he gets a win over Swagger. Short work until Truth shows up, and he's shucking and jiving his ass on the ramp, and before he can really do any damage, King Barrett just cuts him off and shoots on his ass hardcore. I mean, and that's the thing about Barrett. He can talk so well. He talks so well. And he's just putting Truth, he's just telling Truth off about how he has no respect for the King of the Ring title. He doesn't deserve it. And ever since I've won this, all you've done is made a mockery of it. And, just to sort of build up for their match. Again, I have R-Truth actually winning because Barrett is just a sinking. Whoever cereal this guy pissed in, since winning the King of the Ring tournament, dude, I hope it wasn't good cereal. But that builds up their match for the pre-show match for Battleground. R-Truth kind of walks off pretty pissed because he's out there about to shoot some old dumb jigaboo, like, shit. Yeah, Barrett just cuts his ass off. He doesn't allow him to say anything. And he walks off. After it's all said and done, Truth kind of walks off. He looks really pissed. Then we get, which I like to think it was the match of the night. My God. Why? Because Cesaro's in it? Yeah? You think? My God, it's Cesaro versus Rusev. And it's basically the rematch from Monday after Kevin Owens kind of bailed on him and left them in there to fight each other to see who had the right to fight John Cena for the U.S. Open Challenge. Cesaro on the way to the on their way to the ring, on his way to the ring backstage, he runs into Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens wishes him good luck. But Cesaro comes out and pretty sweet varsity jacket. This is again just an extension of say the match from last Monday. I mean, it was just as good, if not better, being that the two of them were in there and you get to see a lot of focus on just the two of them in the ring. The only thing that threw this match off is constant shots of Summer Rae, who is a horrible valet, by the way. She doesn't work. She doesn't, what do they call it? She doesn't earn her money worth shit. I mean, at least Lana did some work. She did, was out there doing something. Summer Rae is just out there just standing. I mean, it's almost like Fandango's first girl and his first ballet, who was just didn't react to anything. Summer Rae doesn't react to shit. So if they're trying to just show how hot she is, I mean, get it. I get it. If you're into that kind of thing, she's hot, but not me so much. But they kept constantly shooting her. That was taken away from the actual match. Fucking shit going down, man. You hear that shit? Jesus. All right, back to the program. But man, this match in itself was just a display of strength after strength after strength. Display of strength. Just these big spots. I mean, which started off with Rusev trying to pick Cesaro up for a suplex. It got reversed, and Cesaro just lifted that fucker up and held him up there for like 7 seconds. And then it just was over and over and over and over again. This is what's missing in a lot of wrestling these days because the wrestlers are so small. They don't really, they're running all over the place and they're getting spots in here and there with some strength. But for the most part, when you're dealing with like two lugs, which we rarely get anymore. Once you think about it, it's always two little guys. So when you get two big guys in there, you're in for a treat in terms of like if the guys can work really well together, if they can work and then work really well together. But these guys are just tossing each other around left and right, and it was so fucking entertaining. Birmingham got a treat that night. If you're listening and you don't watch SmackDown, but you check out my reviews on it, go back and watch that match. It was fucking amazing. Cesaro hits that springboard corkscrew, uppercut. I mean, that shit, I popped like hell. We didn't get a big swing. But it ends with Rusev throwing Cesaro in after the momentum shifts to him. He throws him in and he goes, what the fuck I'm going to do? He goes to the top rope where Cesaro plays possum. And as Rusev jumps off the top buckle, Cesaro hits him with an uppercut. It wasn't that clean of an uppercut. You could tell it was just mistimed, but nevertheless, it still looked awesome. He fucking pops him with that uppercut, and he puts him in the neutralizer. And 1, 2, 3 victory. And he's the second person ever to ever pin Rusev. John Cena's the only other person. And Cesaro was fucking happy as shit. He runs out the ring. He fucking jumps into the crowd. And I don't know, man. Cesaro just knows. I don't know what. I would love to find an interview with him. I want Stone Cold Steve Austin to have an interview with Cesaro if he doesn't already have it already. Because the guy just knows wrestling. He knows history. And the way that he performs, is a reflection of that. Any and everything he does gets over. I mean, if anything from an uppercut to just picking up the speed when he throws him to the buckle, the big swing, the fucking accolade, not accolade, sorry, the neutralizer, all of these things and how he reacts to the crowd is just, he's just over. Even when he comes out, like his reputation of just being the new showstopper, people are just, oh, he's over. And again, maybe this is his slow climb. Maybe this is his slow burn. But man, it's about fucking time because every gimmick they've given this guy. At first, I hated him. When I first, and again, this is, you know, the homie Terrence. He could tell you. He's like, man, Elle didn't like him at first. Peter didn't like him at first. He loves him now, and I think it just goes to show the guy puts in a lot of hard work, and it's just that thing, man. He's a star. He really is a star, and I hope this is momentum to getting him closer and closer to a championship feud with somebody. It doesn't matter because whoever's going to be against, I mean, we know the in-ring action is going to be fucking phenomenal. You can be left on the edge of your seat, and it's well deserved. You know, Cesaro, he completely deserves it. Next up, we got Neville versus Stardust, which is a rematch from last Monday that ended with Stardust with a handful of tights. This isn't that long. I mean, no, it's really a short match that results in Neville winning with a over-the-shoulder package pin. Because Cody Rhodes, he tries to cheat by grabbing the rope on the roll-up, and he gets into it with the ref, and the ref was a distraction enough to get Neville into that pin. They're fucking it up. They're fucking up both of these guys, and they're trying to pair it up as if it's this like comic book thing, which I think it's. I mean, I see the point, but it just screams too mid-card, and a guy like Neville, I mean, it's just shades of WCW and the Cruiserweight division. Like, if you're going to put him in these dumb gimmick matches and he's viewed as a superhero, I don't want to see him viewed as a superhero. I want to see him viewed as an actual championship contender. And as for Stardust, he just needs to get rid of this fucking gimmick. The WWE is like right on the cusp of something really beautiful with Cody, but they're just not going to do it. They're going to keep him in this outfit, and I'm just going to bitch and complain about it until they change it up. Again, Stardust was someone that I absolutely loved. The music, the gimmick, it was something that was fresh, something that was new. When he was with Goldust, you had Goldust and Stardust. They were the tag team champions. Now, you know, Goldust has stopped. They tried to do that feud. They pulled the plug on it. And ever since, and Goldust sort of unofficially retired. And since then, Cody Rhodes has just kind of been floundering. And now with the death of Dusty Rhodes, they got this opportunity to really do something special, but they just refuse. I mean, I've heard some other podcasts that they're talking about how they're doing this the right way, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't care if you've been watching wrestling since 1874. This is the wrong way. This is the wrong way. You want to build drama. You want to build suspense. You want people to connect instantly. You want him over, right? Nah, we're talking about the WWE. They don't want anybody over. But no, it's unacceptable. And until, again, he just takes off that paint, takes off that fucking thing, I'm just going to always talk shit about it. Backstage with JoJo, her little bitty gorgeous ass, you got Tamina, Naomi, and Sasha Banks with the NXT Championship. Again, I don't agree with how the NXT women. I don't agree with the NXT women being on the main roster right now, regardless. I just don't agree with it. If you want to bring up one, that's cool. Maybe somebody on the bottom of the barrel. But each one of these girls, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, are bona fide superstars on their own merit. Right? So to bring them all three in together again I mean, I could talk too much about it, but Hurricane, Nikki Bella, you just don't want them in that way. And at the same time, you don't want to align them. And I know it's about association. We get it. But the Divas division time is only but so much. They only give them so much time, right? So much time. And now you gotta have this spread it not only with the divas that they already have on the main roster, but you gotta spread it between three more girls that deservingly deserves more time. You know, the women's division at least needs 2 segments if you're gonna bring up these three girls along with the roster you already have. But that's not going to be the case. Okay, you can give them 8 to 10 minute matches. That's great, but that's only one fucking match. That's only one girl out of those three. Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. You know? Like, at least give us 2. Take a segment out. Shorten the beginnings. You know? Shorten the ends. Like, trim that shit and give them a second Divas match on Raw. It's that fucking simple if you're going to do this. And you better give them a head of steam. Not like you did Charlotte when she first showed up. But they're talking, and I just don't agree with Sasha Banks being aligned with Naomi and Tamina. I mean, they look swell, but Banks actually should be going up against Naomi. And I imagine that feud would be fucking beautiful. But they're talking it up because they're a faction now. I guess they're a 3-woman faction. You know? We'll see where this goes. They don't have a match on Battleground. I mean, oh well. The main event, which was actually surprisingly good. Sheamus and the Big Show versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Okay, we find out that Ryback is out with a staph infection, and he will not be able to compete in the battleground pay-per-view. Now I don't know if this means that the Big Show and Miz won't face off, but that's a whole nother slot to be filled. Now, do they fill that slot with something like another match? Do Big Show still fights the Miz? We don't know. Maybe that's when a NXT Divas match can kind of just slide in there somehow. You know, you can get basically it looks like it leaves it open for a triple threat 3-woman tag team match with the NXT girls, Tamina and Naomi, and the Bella Twins with Alicia Fox. It looks like that leaves that wide the fuck open. So we'll see if that takes the place of that match. But yeah, Ambrose doesn't have a match at Battleground. Roman Reigns has his feud with Bray Wyatt. So the only person really out of this tag team that actually has a story going into the pay-per-view this Sunday is Roman Reigns. A good match, actually. It was actually surprisingly good. Take it that is Sheamus. I mean, Orton was nowhere to be found on this show, which is for the best, you would think, because he's facing Sheamus. But I guess we got that on Monday. But yeah, high energy match, high energy. Dean Ambrose pulls out some new stuff. Roman Reigns still just kicks and slaps, but his hot tag was pretty fun for the crowd. But the spot of the evening, the match of the night was Rusev Cesaro, but the spot of the night was there was a moment where Ambrose just catch fire. He runs in. I think he steps he steps on Sheamus and then kicks Big Show outside, and then he's about to sort of do a diving push, but the Big Show catches him, and it looks like he's about to choke slam him on the announce table. But Dean Ambrose hikes himself up. Jimmy Uso gets the fuck out of there, by the way. That's the funny. The way he moves out is like, oh shit, I'm out of here. I ain't trying to hurt myself any more than I already am. But he hikes himself up and gives the Big Show a DDT, which collapses the announce table. Holy shit moment. And maybe that was being chanted throughout the arena, but you couldn't hear it because they probably drowned it out with other noise. But that was definitely a holy shit moment. Spot of the night, looked good, looked clean. That fucking thing just collapsed, and I don't think I've ever seen like a DDT, just a DDT break the announce table. But it is the big show, and all 5,000 pounds of him coming down on that table as well. I'd imagine Dean Ambrose caught the blunt of, caught the most of all that gravity coming down. But nevertheless, it looked good. Kudos to the both of them. And to finish off the hot tag from Roman Reigns, he hits Sheamus with a Superman punch, and just as soon as he's about to hit the ooh-ah spear, guess who shows up? I give you 3 guesses. Oh, you guessed Bray Wyatt? Well, damn. Talk about suspense. Well, anyway, Bray Wyatt shows up and he ambushes Roman Reigns, which results in a DQ. And then as soon as he tries to get him into Sister Abigail, Roman Reigns gets out of it. Superman punches him. Bray Wyatt retreats to the outside. Sheamus comes out of nowhere. He looked like he's about to do sort of like a sneak attack brogue. Off the ropes, gets busted with a spear. And that's basically how SmackDown ends. Again, you want to watch that match? Go watch it. I think it's a pretty good match. But definitely see Cesaro versus Rusev. I'm looking forward to see if they're going to put that 3, sort of triple threat, 9 tag team bout on Battleground now that Rusev is out. I guess we're looking forward to Reigns and Wyatt. Again, I have Reigns winning that. We have Kevin Owens and John Cena to look forward to. Neither one were on the show, just the backstage spot. New Day versus Primetime Players. I have the New Day winning. Oh, please win. But that's SmackDown. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you want to follow me on Twitter for PJTW Central, PJTW Central on Twitter. That's why I do live tweets of both, of SmackDown and sometimes of Raw and sometimes of SmackDown, and then whatever I feel like talking about wrestling related. Outside wrestling related, just my personal shit. Ellen Japanese, that's LINJAPANESE. And that's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's SoundCloud, and that's Snapchat if you do Snapchat. And then PJTW Central. It's a new format now where you can go to the page and watch this video on the actual web page. So if you don't subscribe on the YouTube channel, you can get the RSS feed from pjtwcentral.com. You can just go there and watch the videos there. And then beneath the YouTube embed is a link to the SoundCloud, a link to the Stitcher, and then also a link to the Tumblr if you use Tumblr. What's that? I think there's a New Day podcast, me and Nathan Newman. I think there will be one of those tomorrow where we just discuss the world of wrestling and everything that went down over the past couple of weeks, days, and things, and talk about Battleground. Other than that, I'm still waiting for Alexa to give me a Dang's podcast, Dang We Love Divas podcast. And until then, I may do live reactions. I may do live reactions for Battleground. Maybe it will be the Bray Wyatt Roman Reigns match, the Kevin Owens Cena match, and the Brock Lesnar Seth Rollins match. I'll probably do those 3 live reactions. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you Sunday. You'll be hearing from me Sunday for the Battleground pay-per-view. Until then, peace.